It is a famous saying that the degree of man's perception about the world depends on his knowledge about the universe. This is valid for every individual around the world. Afghanistan is a religious country with a majority of its residents being illiterate. Superstitious beliefs of the people about their surrounding world have influenced all aspects of Afghan society. For a conservative Muslim, the world is just perfect, as it is believed that the world is created by Allah. As the minds of Western world has been brightened with advances in space science, and religious ideologies are not meant to interfere with scientific work, but the situation here is vice versa. In the absence of astronomy, many Afghan children are subject to Islamic extremism. As the founders of Afghanistan Astronomy Association, we know how devastating it could be for the future of Afghan children. Unfortunately, astronomy is still misinterpreted with astrology in Afghanistan. Our goal is to introduce the vastness and beauty of the universe to Afghan school children. Considering our goals, we organize astronomy lectures, telescopic observations, planetarium show, write articles, and initiate astronomy workshops in schools across the city. Every week, Yunus Bakhshi, the founder of Afghanistan Astronomy Association, creates television programs and writes astronomy-related articles for an Afghan blog. In order to be able to change the mentality of young people, unleash their minds, and eradicate superstition, we need to be supported. We believe that this will prevent the future generations to join fundamentalist groups. We're confident that astronomy can play a significant role in bringing peace to Afghanistan. We understand that this is going to take a lot of time and efforts to change established ideas in a society. But we're honest with the knowledge, rationality, and science, and won't stop promoting it in our country. We want to explain to the people that science and astronomy is not related to their faith. It is rather another way of thinking about the universe. We're willing to teach them that astronomy is a scientific subject. Yunus created the first website in Afghanistan that spreads news about astronomy in local languages. As a matter of fact, a major portion of population in the country is illiterate, and some cannot access internet as well. So it made us conclude that this is not an efficient way to convey our message to all Afghans. It was through these messages and public discussions that he helped increase the number of astronomy enthusiasts in the International Year of Astronomy 2009. He, along with a number of these enthusiasts, established the Afghanistan Astronomy Association. Each Saturday, Yunus took pictures of the planets, moon, stars, galaxies, and other celestial objects to schools with him and would talk about them to school kids. Later, the association was able to buy 20 sun goggles. It was the only equipment, and using those goggles, school children could easily view the full disk of our mother star, the sun. The number of astronomy enthusiasts was increasing every other day, and the association was enabled to afford the cost for a 6-inch Newtonian telescope. We used to observe the lunar surface and planets through that telescope. The Afghan media gradually became attracted to the work we were doing, and they invited Yunus from time to time to participate in their shows and talk about astronomy and space news. We initiated television astronomy programs where we would talk about eclipses and how it is a usual phenomenon that has been happening since the solar system was created. As another separate event, we created a 2-day workshop for disabled. During the workshops, we talked about the eclipses, and many of them were convinced that their disability comes from their pregnant mothers gazing at the eclipse, which caused them to be born disabled. We explained to them what eclipses actually are and completely altered their perspective on this issue. Such an idea can literally cut the love of a disabled offspring with their mother, As the result of our activities and efforts in promoting astronomy, the number of believers in astrology are very few compared to the past, and relatively the number of young people interested in astronomy has increased. Through our television shows, we have convinced so many Afghans that astronomy is a scientific subject. Through our training programs in schools, we could explain the Earth's atmosphere, the global warming effect, and the devastating effects of fossil fuels on our planet. More efforts are required to change the mentality of our society. Afghanistan Astronomy Association is a minority, and we feel quite lonely. The Afghan government has done nothing to promote astronomy as a subject. Academy of Sciences of Afghanistan and Kabul University has no astronomical associations or groups. There's barely a short chapter in school books that briefly explains the solar system as known to a man from 1970s. It needs to be updated with the amendment of scholars. We propose to include astronomy in school curriculums as a scientific subject, and we're ready to help the government in preparing the materials. As a further step, planetariums and observatories should be built across the country in the future. Afghanistan has the best potential for observational astronomy as it is covered by the darkest night skies. We need to invest time and money to align the mentality of the people in right direction, much less expensive than the cost of war campaigns. We believe that through astronomy programs and educational activity, we can prevent a large portion of young people to join terrorists and extremists, which will be regarded as a major step towards peace and stability in Afghanistan. So the future of astronomy in Afghanistan is very promising. I and my friends have faced various problems during astronomy activities. For instance, I, along with my friends, went outside the city for observation, and we were confronted with a bunch of armed policemen who thought we were carrying some sort of heavy weapon, the telescope. I explained to them what the instrument is, and they could observe the rings of Saturn with that telescope. They later thought it was much fun for them. Due to insecurity, it is hard for us to travel to places outside town that has darker and clearer skies. Apart from security issues, a lack of financial resources to advance astronomical activities is another major challenge for us. We only charge each member about 30 cents a month for their membership, which cannot even compensate for the office rent. Whatever we have accomplished so far is the result of a joint partnership of all members. The Royal Astronomical Society of Britain donated 4,800 euros to the Afghanistan Astronomy Association for publication of our astronomy book. Using the fund, we were able to publish 2,000 copies of the book, and then we distributed the books to multiple schools across Kabul, Mazar-e-Sharif, Panjshir, Bamiyan, and Jalalabad provinces. We suggest to republish the updated version of the book in both Dari and Pashto languages. During the last transit of Venus, we didn't have adequate facilities to show this historical event to Afghans. Thanks to Mr. Mike Simmons and his colleagues from Astronomers Without Borders for providing us with 100 solar goggles. Using these goggles at several locations, we were not only able to show the transit of Venus to school kids, but also to the U.S. Army and international employees at the United Nations offices as well. If similar assistance continues in the future, we would be enabled to extend our activities range across all provinces in Afghanistan. We see a bright future attached to the promotion of astronomy in this country. We have this everlasting motivation and purpose in our lives to promote and spread the knowledge of astronomy in every corner of Afghanistan. We want to spark the passion of future generations. We want to inspire Afghan kids to become the next best scientist. In order to continue our TV shows and programs about astronomy, to organize more astronomy classes in schools, we need financial resources to support these activities. We believe your assistance to promote astronomy in Afghanistan could prevent Afghan teenagers to join extremist groups. We are willing to introduce the true image of the universe and the place of man in an infinitely magnificent universe to every Afghan. We want to teach our fellow Afghans that all humanity and life as we know it have equal rights, and that we are all the same, regardless of our race and religion. We can all live together in peace and brotherhood.